Hey guys, thanks for dropping by the channel again today, and we're going to look at the Autobot Off-Road Patrol. Wait, I think we just looked at the Autobot Off-Road Patrol. Oh, I know the difference. We looked at the G1 Quartet, but this time we're going to look at the Siege Duet in the latest GotBot True review. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your humble host, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, please like, comment, share, of course, subscribe, and while you're at it, that's right, hit that notification bell, please, because it lets you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery Man, The Everything Factor, Transformers Collectors, NL, the Autobot family, and have a look for me everywhere across social media. I love talking to you guys whenever I get the opportunity, and this is Highjump and Powertrain, and I keep getting their names backwards. I think the gray lad is Highjump, and I think the orange truck is Powertrain. And I believe Powertrain is the leader of the group, if I'm not mistaken. They are molds that I have looked at before and I found a little iffy. The truck lad, he was alright, and we're going to see if this one is comparable or better or worse, but the truck one was alright. I wanted something better for the shoulders. I suspect this guy will handle much the same way, but I'm more interested in this lad because his red reuse as Rykon in the Siege 10 pack didn't quite live up to my hopes and expectations for the mold, largely because of tolerance issues. And I did manage to fix them, but I'm hoping this guy avoids them altogether. Anyway, let's head over to the table and take a closer look at these lads. So very recently we looked at the last of the 4-member G1 teams with the Off-Road Patrol, and the reason that I had put them up until now is because I wanted to give a refresher of them before we looked at these guys. This, of course, is the new Siege, I believe Wave 4 iteration of that same group, the Off-Road Patrol. And this time around we only have 2 out of the 4 members, as is usually the case. But are these 2 members good? Well, I already looked at both of these molds already in the Siege Micromaster 10 pack, and I had certain thoughts about them there. Are these uses of those same molds better or not quite as good? Well, we're about to find out, but before we get to that, we need to take a quick look at this packaging first. And you betcha that we have packaging here. We have them in their vehicle modes up here. It's beautiful artwork, but honestly, with Siege, it's been beautiful artwork all along. We're not going to have to do Guilty or Innocent because it doesn't apply for these little duos, because they're kind of a new thing unto themselves on the back. You guessed it, we have the product images of the 2 of them, and they're absolutely idiotic and ridiculous. Connected accessory cannon mode junk. Don't do it. I'll show it, but it's terrible. If there's one thing I've sort of been giving consistently kind of good feedback on, it's been the instructions, and it's no different here. They're dandy instructions. Naturally, my favorite part is the stats page for the Confounder cannon, and I'm confounded why this thing even exists because it looks awful. It's not that strong. It's not super accurate, but it does have a long range. I guess it needed something because it looks just terrible. And we're going to start off with Powertrain here, and he's alright. He's orange and blue. We'll talk about his coloring in a minute and give that a mark, but before that, let's do the articulation first. The articulation for this guy, we have the arms that they only go out that far. It's not much, nothing to write home about, nothing to get excited about. They can, however, go, if you get this out of the way, can they go all the way around? I thought they could go all the way around. Yeah, they can go all the way around, but you need to kind of get them past the, truck cab, which is a little bit of a nuisance. The legs, they can go well forward. As long as you pick the cab up, they can go back about that far. We have a very tight knee to about 90 degrees. And when it comes to like his ability to do the splits, only out that far. Definitely not the most articulated. Honestly, articulation, maybe 4, maybe a 4. Nothing great, nothing to get excited about. I mean, he's not as good as, say, Stormcloud, who I think is the best. Now, I've heard some debate recently about that and some claims that Rumble is the best. We'll see when that time comes, and I'll talk about it when that time comes. But this guy, because I know there's better ones out there, I'm going to say it's only about a 4 for his articulation. In terms of his coloring, well, here he is next to his G1 version. And you can see how the coloring is here. It's pretty good. It's probably an 8, but it's not perfect because at least the thighs of the Siege one should be black. The blue, yeah, okay, on his lower shins, maybe kind of down on his feet. That's cool. I get that. That's all right. The look of the body is good. The look of the arms is good. So I'd say it's about an 8. It's pretty accurate. Not perfect, but quite close. So we have a 4. We have an 8. The guy's getting a 6. What about his transformation? Well, before his transformation, it seemed only right that we also show him off with his, I guess, mold brother, the other use. I feel like the articulation on this guy, on Highjump, is a little, Powertrain, is a little bit better than it was on Ironworks, or Iron Tread, I think he's called in that pack. I feel like there's more paint on Iron Tread, but I don't know if it's necessarily to his credit functionally. And maybe I'm wrong, maybe they are exactly the same, but I feel like things are slightly smoother on this guy. Now let's get into that transformation. As you can probably guess, this is pretty simplistic, super simplistic actually. We tab the legs together and then we put the arms out on the side. There's a little tab on the wrist. It goes into a little, see if I can even show it here, little rectangular slot there on the hip. And that should work. Then we come to the back and we twist around the cab. It will get held up, but you sort of have to finagle it and force it a little bit. There are 2 nubs back right there that the cab sort of locks down over. And then we bring the engine grill down and we lay him down, and boom, in the end here he is in his truck mode. And there are all 3 of them. Dandy lads, all of them I guess. They're fine for trucks. What about the transformation? Well, he was getting a 6. I'm going to say the transformation, there's not much to it. It's simple, which I think works best for these guys. I think overly complicated for so small, I don't know, man. I know we get figures quite small that are quite complex, but they're also at a higher price. I think that for what it is, it's fine. If you don't like the super simplicity, you're not going to like this guy. I dig it for, like I said, what it is. So I'm going to say overall it's about a 6. I'm going to say overall the score for this guy, the first half of the set, is about a 6. And now we have Highjump. I feel like I get the names of Highjump and Powertrain mixed up a lot because I feel like this guy should be Powertrain. I don't know. Anyway, this is Highjump nevertheless. I like this use of the mold better than this use of the mold. I had a problem with Rykon, and the problem is that his hips love to pop off. I had to fix them. They're still not perfect, but they're much better than they were. The hips do not pop off on Highjump. As a matter of fact, I think Highjump is significantly better in terms of the coloration. How well does he match up with his G1 counterpart? Well, you can see it right there. I don't think he matches up quite as well with his G1 counterpart because it's a bit of a different model. Down on the legs, we have an extra added red piece, which I like, so I'm not going to knock him for that because it's colored in detail that was not done on the G1. His legs were just left completely gray. But then when we get up to the torso, and like the head is fine, the arms are fine, but when we get to the torso is highly stylized here. It's red. It's not the windshield and roof of the vehicle. That's on his back. I don't know. I like it, but it's highly stylized. I'm going to say about a 6 for accuracy. Maybe 7. Let's say I'm in a good mood. Let's say 7 for his paint apps, his accuracy. For the record, I do think that Rykon works well, and I said this in the G1 review. I'll just move him in a bit. I think he works well as this lad. So I think I'm going to kind of pair Rykon with the team. So we don't really have an update for this guy, but I think Rykon stands in nicely for him to give us a 3rd member of this team. So with one team member overall being about a 6, and now this guy starting out with a 7, it's going to be interesting to see how he scores the rest of the way. What about his articulation? Pretty great for what it is. The arms are quite free. They go out to the side nicely. They go up, they go back. They can't go all the way around because of this piece. And in a package, this piece is forward. So you need to angle it forward and then bend it back to get it in the right position. It's not like it in packaging, I guess, you know, for packaging purposes. Still no elbows, which is unfortunate. But the legs, they go out that far, not the best. Waist rotation, which I absolutely dig. As a matter of fact, I missed the waist rotation when we went through the articulation on Powertrain, but rest assured, both of them have it. This guy can kick forward nicely, kick back, you know, not too far because of the junk on his back. His knees bend super duper deep. They aren't as difficult to bend as they are on Raikkonen, and I think that's part of what it is with Raikkonen that causes him to sort of pop apart or have his hips pop off a bit, is that they do have very tight knees, and I think that kind of affects the hips, so to speak. I'm going to say the articulation for this guy, it's pretty good. I like it. I'm going to say for a Micromaster, it's a solid 7.5. Overall now, 7.5. To get to his vehicle mode, we go through the transformation just like we did with Raikkonen. It's pretty simple. It's simple but interesting. We turn the waist around. We bring the legs together. One slides into the other, I will note that. You kind of bend the knees and the hips back, and then when you do it, there's a little section here on the waist. You put the two gray tabs of the legs into that little section to hold it into place. You're going to bring the arms down, and there's a little tab on the back of the arm that slots it up in place, and the tires that are on the back of the hands, I guess, become his rear tires. And then you angle forward the hood section that was behind his head, and in the end, boom, here you have him in his vehicle mode. I dig it. I like it. All the windows are colored all the way around. I love that as well. Honestly, I'm going to say the transformation, because it's as interesting as what it is, I'm going to say the transformation is a solid 8. To give him a score, I'm going to say overall he's about a 7.5. He's definitely the better one of the two. Here he is with Raikkonen and his G1 self, and this is where he shines in his vehicle mode. He's extremely reminiscent of his G1 iteration. The duo together looks like this, and I like it. You may notice on the back here, I already have a couple of pieces out because I need to show you that idiotic way that they connect that I don't like. But to begin, I just want to, I'll use Ironworks for a second to show this. So as you can see here, by way of iron tread, we have two red pieces back here. If you were to split the legs, they're actually like blaster cannon barrels that come out. Now, I find them hard to get out. I don't have fingernails to do it. I had to find something to pick them out. But once you pick those pieces out, he looks kind of like this. Now, technically, there are 3 pegs that need to come out. The 2 that I already have out down there, that's going to be the cannon barrels, but you really have to turn this guy around. Now, the peg that I'm holding onto that's up under his like hood section is going to go pegged into the chest of Highjump. And this guy's going to be like the bottom of the cannon, like this. This is awful. I'm sorry, this is just awful. But nevertheless, we'll finish it off. You know, it's in the instructions. We'll do it. And with his partner, it's pretty simple. We come here and we bring the arms down for high jump. We straighten the legs out. We bring the arms apparently back up. There's a handle underneath the hood that we're supposed to use as the handle to hold on to things. Underneath we have a peg hole here in the chest. Using this black peg that we took out, we place that in the peg hole and we get this as our combined cannon mode. This is awful, and I'm going to tell you it's a lot more work to get in this then it's really worth a lot more work. The pegs are not easily accessible, and the end result is like, is this the payoff? Really? Really? Is this the payoff? You know what? They're a fine team. They didn't need this gimmick as far as I'm concerned. But I guess more power to you, more playability if you dig it. But nah, this is ugly, and it's just frustrating to get into, in my personal opinion. So at the end of the day, what do we think of this little duo? Honestly, I'm going to say that they work out to be about 7.25 overall. It's a great little set. It's not perfect, but it's not the worst. Like, it's not the best set, but it's not the worst set. And when we kind of look at this set in comparison to the other mold uses, I feel like that they're slightly better here than what we got in the reuses in the box set. Not that the box set ones were bad, but I think these are just slightly better. 7.25 overall. They're a dandy little set. If you're in for the Micromasters, hey, you might as well be in for these lads as well. And we're back, and I've said it once, I've said it twice, I've said it a bunch of times. I really think that Rykon can serve as an update for Tote. I've said it a bunch of times. I almost feel like I'm on a crusade to get this guy renamed as Tote, but I'm not. I dig him as Baby Ironhide. You know, I mean, he looks very Ironhide-ish. But, like, I think he could stand in for Tote. Now, if we get an official Tote, all the better. But on to the actual focus of this review, and it's these two guys. The orange truck lad is pretty comparable to the other version. It's fine. You know, there's nothing wrong with it. The shoulders still kind of have the same issues. He's not the best mold, but he's also not the worst mold. I don't know. It's all right. I just wish that the shoulders had a little bit more mobility. The real star, though, this time is this guy. I love the mold for him. The use here is great. The tolerances are way better. It's a fantastic mold when used correctly with the right tolerances. So it's fantastic for this guy. It's a little more iffy for Rykon. You might have to do a little bit of work on the hip ball joints. If your Rykon is toleranced as well as this guy, I think you got a solid little Micromaster. They're not the most posable. I mean, they're not Stormcloud, right? But they're also not too bad. Anyway, let me know what you think of this guy and this guy. Do you like this duo? Did you pass them over? What's your thoughts? Would I like to have the other two? Absolutely. But I'll be glad to have both of these guys for now. As always, thanks for dropping by. Give me some of your extremely valuable time. I know, man, how important it is to you. Please hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, there is a donate link down in the description. Don't forget, never forget that somehow, someway, each and every day you do make a difference. And I very much look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit right here inside the videos.